Alrighty, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. What a mess. We have, first of all, I got to talk about the dollar Canadian because, you know, I got triggered into a trade up above this resistance. It slammed back down towards support. I've added along the way, and my stops are really close. My stops are right below here. You can see it's kind of this, this is, you know, channel support. It's got to hold here. I mean, it just does. And if it doesn't, it's going to just blow through my stops. And then I'm going to give up all my profits from, you know, silver that ran today. And you can see silver, you know, screamed right up towards the 127% extension. I thought this might be a little overdone, you know, with the daily sentiment index at the levels that we're at right now. Let me see if I can pull up the DSI for you guys, just so you can see it really quick. This is the, let me see if I can pull that over. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so here's the DSI. It's from last night. You know, you have silver at 86, gold at 91, and gold's obviously a lot stronger today. With those levels being pushed, you know, I figured, well, you know, it probably is going to pull back at some point. It may make one last stretch in silver up towards this 1880 before it does, but you know, I'd rather let it do that and reset itself and try to buy a dip. But if you've been trying to buy gold dips, it just hasn't happened. I mean, gold is just continuing to scream higher, and you can see that we are almost at the 88%, long-term 88% of this. This is actually, I'll just pull up a weekly chart, be much easier to see. 88% of the highs, all-time highs back in June of 2011 to current levels. So now I want to go back and talk obviously about FX. And, you know, one of the things that was going to, and I was talking to guys in my office from earlier today, I just fill you in with the conversation that I had is, hey, you know, as long as we're below 1350, I'm a little nervous about the euro being, you know, being up where it's at. Remember, we are at a multi-year trend line that we're testing. Okay, I think a close above 113.50 is pretty bullish, frankly. I do, and which is good for the euro because I'm long some euro crosses. I just I'm worried that the euro breakout might take up some of these other currencies like the Kiwi. Kiwi's right up against its resistance. Aussie's right up against its resistance. Everything is on the cusp of the dollar really breaking down. But, you know, I look at the euro and I have to remind myself, we were up here once, twice, 3 times over the course of the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we failed up here. Not saying that today will be the day or won't be the day that we break out, but it has shown failure at these levels a lot. So, you know, if the euro slumps here, you know, it could pull down the Kiwi, it could pull down the Aussie, and it could also pull up the dollar Canadian. The dollar Canadian can bounce off of the support. I will be concerned if the euro really closes higher, because that means that the dollar Canadian will be back below the 200-day moving average, which comes in at 134.98 or just roughly 135. That's gonna eventually push us right back down to the low 130s, which very easily can happen. And so you have to be nimble. I've got a really tight stop from current levels, and like I said, it's gonna end up pissing away a lot of my profits that I've made from silver. Actually, it will take them all away, but that's come on, bounce. And then, you know, one of the other things, crude oil, let's talk about crude really quick. Crude just pushed to a new high. Let's go over to an hourly. That's going to be a little bit better. We just pushed to a new high, and then, do you guys know where that's from? And then, so is that a false breakout above these highs? I don't know yet, but I mean, it did push the stops right above there, and it's kind of showing failure. So, you know, again, if crude pulls back, the euro pulls back, Kiwi pulls back, Aussie pulls back, dollar Canadian could bounce. It's a real tricky area, guys. It is a really, really tricky area. Very frustrating. I mean, if you guys are out like me, just trying to trade around the markets and, you know, make a few bucks here and there, it's like pulling teeth. It's like you take 2 steps forward and you take 2 steps back. That's the way the market's been for me the last, you know, couple weeks. It's been frustrating. That's pretty characteristic of a market that is range bound, but we are, you know, close to breaking out, or at least threatening a possible breakout. At the same time, you know, I look at equities, and equities continue to be really strong here. You know, the equity markets just continue to push up, even with the bearish, you know, the bearish signal we got yesterday. Like whether, you know, whether you're talking about the, you know, the Nasdaq giving that shooting star, the S&P, you know, giving this dark cloud cover, but the day is not over yet. I mean, yes, it does seem like to me that we're going to close at these levels or better, meaning higher. It does feel that way, but that doesn't mean that I'm right, because history, especially the last couple of weeks, I told you that I've been off. You know, I'm on, then I'm off, then I'm on, then I'm off. It's, you know, it's sloppy. So, and the markets are at very tricky levels, especially after rallying so far. As I said earlier today on the lunch money, or sorry, the face webinar, is that while we're below this 3,200 level in the S&P, you got to be a little careful, because it's obviously resistance. You know, we break above that, and that's going to open up the door for, in my opinion, if we break above that, that will open the door for dollar weakness to come pretty aggressive. One of the last things I want to point out, and then if you guys have anything that you wanted me to take a look at, make sure you let me know. The dollar Mexican peso is holding up really well. And this is another one of those, you know, signals that we see in the FX market where we go, hey, wait a minute, you know, if the emerging market, you know, currency, like an emerging market currency like Mexico, the peso is so weak, you know, could that be signaling us that stocks are going to start to roll over? I mean, I'll tell you what, if stocks do roll over, and when I'm looking at the Nasdaq, by the way, I'm actually really laser focused on this low. You can see it. I've got the alarm set. You know, we dropped through 10,500 on the S&P, or excuse me, on the Nasdaq 100. That's gonna trigger me to start being a little bit more proactive as far as trading some risk off things. But if we see that level breached, then at that point, I'm probably going to just turn around and start buying the dollar Mexican peso. That's going to be like the one thing that I'll really be considering at that point. Nissa asked for gold. Yeah, I just covered gold. Did you miss it? Did you miss what I said about gold? Gold is nearing the 88% retracement. The DSI is at, yesterday's DSI was at, where are we at? 91. So that means today it's probably going to be 92, 93, maybe even higher. And with gold DSIs at those levels, and you're right up against this 88% weekly retracement level from the 2011 highs, you got to be a little careful. Okay, you got to be a little careful. You know, and let's go. RSI, the 4-hour RSI was pretty overbought at this point, so just, you know, be careful there. Nat gas, I'll look at it really quick. Nat gas. I know it's Nat G, but is it Nat G? Now why? And futures. Nat gas, there we go, NG. Let's see. That looks like we're right up against resistance. So, flip side is if we break 190, that's bullish, right? If, not when, if, right? I mean, because we're in a pretty severe downtrend. So let's see. And it's a 618. So I can see why sellers are stepping in today. Does that mean it's gonna cap this rally? No, but I can see exactly why they're stepping in. So anyway, guys, I wish, I wish we were breaking out. I love the days when I can come on the webinar and go, man, there's a massive breakout happening right here. I think we're on the cusp, of a pretty big dollar down move, but that doesn't mean it's going to come. And I guess we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. Be patient and wait. All right, guys. If you're listening to this after the fact, make sure you try out ForexAnalytix. It's only $1 for 10 days. This way you can listen to it live, and you can be in the chat rooms with us, although I was gone for the last hour and a half because I had to run to the grocery store. Since we happen to be the #1 hot spot in the entire world for COVID, where I live, I had to try to avoid the grocery stores when everybody else is there, and that's why I went. I was gone, and there wasn't very many people. Give it an hour or two, and there's going to be a lot of people there. So that's where I was at. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the chat room now. I'm back, so I'll see you in a bit.